Hello everyone, this is Mr. Appelt, and now we're going to look at something called the change of base formula. The change of base formula essentially says that when you have a log with a base, for example, I'll just give an actual numerical example and then we'll work backwards. So if you had something like log base 3 of 5, and you wanted, actually let's start with one that you know. Let's do something like this, log base 3 of 9. So this is one you should be able to figure out pretty easily in your head, because this just says 3 to the what power equals 9. And so the answer to that would be 2. But other logs, something like log base 3 of 5, not so easy. This is basically saying 3 to the what power would equal 5, and that's something you'd need a calculator to figure out. So there's this change of base formula. The change of base formula that you see right here basically says that you can take the log of C divided by the log of B, and that will give you the answer. So in this example, we could simply do the log of 5, this is, remember, the common log, over the log of 3, and that will give you the answer. This is useful for a lot of reasons. The most useful reason is that most scientific calculators, don't actually have logs other than base 10. So most calculators, you can't actually type this in, but you can type this in. There are other reasons why the change of base formula can be really useful that you'll get into later in pre-calc, but here that's the most useful reason. So for example, if you didn't know that 3 squared was 9 and you were trying to evaluate, you could actually just type log of 9 over log of 3 into your calculator. And I could show you that that actually works. If we simply do log of 9 divided by log of 3, you see we do in fact get 2. And so that's, pretty handy for evaluating logs. Now, why does this formula work? It's actually pretty simple to prove that it works. I'm going to go ahead and show you that. If you don't care, you can stop now, but it is kind of interesting. Let me just get rid of this. So log of B, log base B of C, if we're trying to evaluate that, I'm going to just set that equal to x. So the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite it in exponential form. So b to the x equals c. And now what I'm going to do is something you probably haven't seen before, but I'm going to take the log of both sides of the equation. Just like multiplying both sides of an equation by something, adding, dividing, all the different things we've done, as long as you do the same thing to both sides of an equation, it's a perfectly legal move. So I'm going to take the log of both sides of the equation, and now I'm going to use my power rule here and move that x over there. Remember, log of something to a power is equal to the product. So x times log of b equals log of c. And now if I'm solving for x, I can divide both sides by log of b, and I'm left with x is equal to log c over log b, and that is the change of base formula. And there you go. It's worth noting that this formula actually will work for any base. You don't have to use the common log. Obviously the most useful is the common log because that's the one we're trying to put into our calculator. But theoretically you could use any log. All right, that's all for now. Thanks.